I'm bigcal and welcome to my world. Today another recent video games pickup video. So it's been a little while since I last did one of these and I've amassed quite a few games since then. So we'll start off first with this lovely big box here. I got the Donkey Kong bongos for the Nintendo GameCube. Got them complete in box and I got them for £2.50. £2.50 for the bongos in the box. When I ordered them from the website, I was honestly expecting them to be unboxed. You know, for £2.50, that's what I was expecting. So when they came in the box, I was very pleasantly surprised. And of course, here they are. And I got these mainly because I wanted to pick up one of the GameCube games that go with it, and this one is Donkey Konga. Admittedly, I did think this was the sort of like platformer where you bang for him to jump and run or whatever and smash. My mistake there. This is one of the rhythm games. There were two of them, and kind of like Guitar Hero, you got some actual genuine songs, but instead of strumming a guitar, you hit the bongos and you clap. It's quite fun, although I had absolutely no idea what I was doing when I was playing it. So those are the bongos and Donkey Konga, which is the first GameCube game I've added to my collection for quite some time, I think. It's not very often I get the chance to buy them cheap. Next up is for the original Xbox, and it is Spy Hunter. Now, I recently did a video on the Midway Arcade Treasures collections 1, 2 and 3, and on one of them was the original Spy Hunter game, and I'd never played it before and I loved it, absolutely loved it. So when I found out there was basically a remake on the original Xbox and other consoles, I decided to pick it up. What a disappointment that was, but it was cheap. Another Xbox game, exclusive to Xbox, an RPG called Sudakai. Seems pretty fun. Didn't get the best of reviews, but I've had fun with it so far, just playing around with it, going around hacking and slashing at enemies and things, so definitely looking forward to going into the game a little deeper. Terminator, Dawn of Fate. Picked this up because I was in a bit of a Terminator mood after seeing the latest Terminator Genesis film, so I picked up one of the games. Pretty shite. Next up for the original Xbox again, picked up quite a few this time, is The Punisher. I do already own this on the PlayStation 2, however for some reason during the cutscenes they decided that there's no longer any audio when it plays. So in order to play the game and actually understand the story, I decided to pick up another copy, and it was cheaper to get it on the original Xbox. Fun game though. Again, original Xbox, Zapper. I thought this was going to be sort of like a 3D platformer game based on the pictures and a couple of videos I've seen. Not quite. It's more like, what was it, for the Sega Saturn, I think, was it Bug? Yeah, it's just really weird, and it's sort of like, hey look, 3D now, but it's not really quite 3D. It still seems like it's on a 2D plane even though things look 3D. You can only really move like one square at a time, and it's just really confusing when you're used to being able to run around and jump wherever the fuck you want. I bought it. Another game now to add to my ever-expanding wrestling collection. It's on the PlayStation 2, and a game I've never heard of until recently, and that is World Wrestling Championship. Don't believe I've even actually played this one yet. But here it is for my wrestling collection. So Nintendo games now. First for the DS, Children of Mana. Part of obviously the Mana series, going back to the Super Nintendo days. Obviously an RPG, go around except instead of turn-based combat, it's more like the Zelda style games. But really fun, cool to use some powers, and if it wasn't for my DS being slightly broken at the moment, I would definitely really like to dig in and play some more of it. Some Wii games, a game I've been after for absolutely ages for the Wii, but it always seems to be kind of expensive. and these Wii Sports Resort. It always seems to go for like £10 and £15, which is crazy considering what it is. It's not a full game, it's just a bunch of mini games. It's just Wii Sports with a few new games that use the motion controls. But I wanted to pick it up, and it does have some cool games. Archery is really cool. Air sports, there's a few we get to fly around and things like that. Frisbee, we get to throw a frisbee for a dog, which is quite kind of amusing. Then you also get golf again and bowling, and there's just no difference at all with the motion controls. But wanted to add it for my collection. And again, that a certain Australian guy out there that I know on a forum that I post on has been telling me to buy for some time for the Wii. I finally bought it. It is Ivy the Kiwi. A very weird, unique game. If any of you played Kirby's Epic Yarn, also on the Wii, there were certain levels where you sort of like, you're a train and you have to use the Wii remote to draw tracks basically with the yarn on the screen. And that's basically kind of what this game is. You draw like line platforms for Ivy the Kiwi so that you can move around, and you can like flip him around and make him jump with them depending on how you do them, how fast you draw them. There are items to collect on each level. Pretty cool concept, and it's got right on the front here from the creator of Sonic, which goes to show that the creator of Sonic can in fact make a good game, because the Sonic games sure as hell aren't. Ooh, random rant there. Another Wii game, The House of the Dead 2 and 3 Return. Fantastic shooting games, and the Wii, it amazes me. The Wii's kind of, the controls are kind of designed for, you know, light gun style games, but there were so few on the system. Luckily though, we did get some great ones such as this. Very happy to own that. And finally, the special edition of The Conduit on the Wii. And by special edition I mean it literally just comes in this box and has special edition hints and tips guide with it. It cost less than what it was going to cost me for the normal edition, so I picked it up anyway. It says here it's the best shooting game on the Wii. Not really saying much unless you start including the light gun style games, but it was a pretty hyped game at the time. I remember it being like a mature shooter game. So I decided to pick it up and played it. It's kind of fun. It's not the best out there, you know. I mean, it's no Halo or anything, but it's still a fun shooting game. There was also a sequel. Definitely worth checking out. Somewhat hidden gems for the system. Moving on now to the PSP. Of course, in my last video I've got a PSP, picked up a bunch of games for it, and I've been continuing to buy games for it. Starting with an RPG called Untold Legends, The Warrior's Code. There are a couple of these games on the PSP, so definitely want to try and pick them all up. The Godfather, very disappointed with this game, because you've got, I'll bring it over here, Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. Now, there's obviously the game by the same name on the PlayStation 2, and what it is basically Grand Theft Auto 3, but like a new mission pack. You got the same world, the open world, explore all the items and things, and they fit it all. They've managed to fit it all here on the PSP. The Godfather, on the other hand, has decided to remove all the open world sandbox elements and sort of created a strategy style game where you just you click where you want some of your men to go to take over rackets, and then you just like magically appear in the building and start extorting business owners or shooting people, and it's just so disappointing. Anyway, God of War, Chains of Olympus, a couple of God of War games again on the PSP. Picked this one up first because it was cheaper than the other one. Big fan of the series. X-Men Legends, Rise of Apocalypse 2. I've got this for the Xbox, however the ability to have it on the PSP and play it on the go definitely appeals to me. Had to pick it up. Love that game. Practical IQ, practically a load of shite. I was thinking it was going to be some sort of, I don't know, IQ test style game, maybe the PSP version of, you know, the Dr. Brain games or whatever on the DS. Instead, it is literally just a puzzle game using cubes. shite. Now, X-Men Legends Apocalypse 2 I mentioned, great game, cool to have on the go. Essentially the sequel to it was turned into Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which I love, and it was also available on the PSP, so I had to pick that one up as well, play it on the go, absolute fantastic game. Taito Legends Power Up, obviously the Taito collection series, here on the PSP we're getting like new exclusive enhanced versions of Balloon Bomber, Crazy Balloon, Camel Tree and Legend of Cage, as well as a bunch of other classic Taito games, cool to own. And then a UMD movie, just because this came bundled with The Godfather that I got. It's a film I like though, Ocean's 11. And well, the most recent game that I've bought in some time, a PS3 game of all things, still last generation but the newest I've bought for a while, Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction. Big fan of the Ratchet & Clank series and have the chance to get one of the newer ones for cheap, picked it up. Now let's move on to some old school cartridge games for the Nintendo 64. We've got Buck Bumble. Not played it yet, but seems like an interesting game. It was cheap. Super Nintendo, a game that I love for the PlayStation, is Theme Park. Going to be cool to play one of the older versions of that. And some wrestling games now, of course. As I showed in my last video, I got the Universal Adapter where I could play American and Japanese games for the Super Nintendo. So of course, that being said, I had to pick up the Super Fire Pro Wrestling games. Got the first one here, Super Fire Pro Wrestling 2 and Super Fire Pro Wrestling 3. I believe I'm still missing one more. It's like Super Fire Pro Wrestling X or something that I need to pick up, so we'll get to that one soon. Another wrestling game here. If I'm not mistaken, this is actually Natsumi Pro Wrestling, a game I picked up recently on the Wii U Virtual Console. So here's the original Japanese version. So that's just another cool game to add to my collection. And some Game Boy games. Been a while since I've really picked up any of these. Been trying to improve my collection lately. First up is a fake game essentially. It's not licensed or anything, and it is one of these multi-carts, and this one is 37 in 1. Picked this up for £5 on my local market, which is an absolute bargain. See a lot of these on eBay go for £20 upwards. It's got things like Zelda in it, all 3 original Pokemon games, Red, Blue and Yellow, a bunch of other cool little games in it. So I'm very happy to pick that up. Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, one of the remaining Mario games, main series ones that I had to pick up. I think it like includes the original Mario and Mario Bros. 2, but has some slight differences. You have to like unlock something or whatever. It's not quite the same, but definitely cool to have the collection. And when I bought that, I also got Wario Land 2 thrown in with it, so I got these two for £10. Obviously the Wario Land games, definitely want to pick them up, they're pretty cool, and then he threw this one in for free. Never asked for it, didn't really want it, but it's there. Men in Black the series, never played it. And then finally a game that literally came just before I started recording this video, and it is Dragon Warrior Monsters. Dragon Warrior is of course known now, well, it was originally known as Dragon Quest, and when it came over to the US and Europe it was called Dragon Warriors, until finally they decided to name it what it actually is, Dragon Quest. The Monsters games, from what I understand, are sort of similar to Pokemon, where you collect and fight with the monsters in the Dragon Quest series. So very cool to own that. In fact, I don't even know if this is in English. I don't know if this version came out in England. Genuinely have no idea. So I'll look forward to getting into that and seeing what it's like. Even if it's not in English, still pretty cool to add to the collection. So those are my recent pickups today. Thanks for watching. I'm Big Cal. I'll see you again next time.